America loves guns. Hell, I love guns, but I also hate guns.
Another mass shooting in America.
Another mass shooting.
Yet another mass shooting.
So I was wondering, what if there was a world where people could keep their guns and have no mass shootings? Welcome to Switzerland, a neutral country most known for its cobblestone streets perfect for skipping, its clocks, sophisticated pocket knives, and guns. Turns out peaceful Switzerland is one of the most heavily armed nations in the world. And like America, they love their guns. Yet they have almost zero gun violence. How the f*** is that possible? Luckily, I ran into an expert.
Is that a gun in your pocket, or you just... Oh, no, that's a gun.
Meet Miko. For 20 plus years, he's been a firearms instructor for law enforcement personnel, military, and special forces. He also happens to be one hunk of a man.
So, Thor, tell me about Swiss gun culture.
We respect the guns because we have a mandatory service. Every man that goes to the army, they get a training and a rifle in case of invasion.
Which, to be fair, is a real threat, since the last time Switzerland was invaded was in 1798, before color was invented. So of course they have a militia.
The culture is a little bit different comparing to some other country.
You're familiar that I'm American, right?
Yeah.
You can just say these things to my face. You don't have to say other countries.
I think the gun culture in America is getting out of hand. This is a joke. There should be common sense gun laws.
Common sense. That's not our strength.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah, well, I can say that, but I don't like it when you say that.
Okay.
But what we do have is that good old American gun freedom.
You know how easy it is to get a gun in the U.S.? I just go to Walmart, give him the money, gun.
I know.
My
It's
Uncle
crazy.
Paul, out of his truck, he's got a bunch of guns. My brother Todd has a gun. You want to use it? Boom, borrow it for the weekend. That's nice.
Not really. In Switzerland, you can get a gun from your grandparents or from your father, but you still have to do the paperwork.
Even if I get a gun from my grandpa, I still got to tell the cops about it?
Yeah.
That's crazy, because in most states in America, you can buy a gun almost immediately without any background check. But not in Switzerland.
You apply the permit from the police. You provide clearance of your criminal record that you don't have any convictions. Wait for 2 weeks.
What if it's a small crime? What if you got caught urinating in public? You got caught for sleeping with your cousin because you didn't know it was a cousin because it was at your family reunion and she looked like she worked at catering. What if it's like assaulting a police officer, but really you were just tickling them?
If you can't be responsible of following some other simple rules in society to behave, why should you have a gun?
You don't need to raise your voice over this.
Was there even a payoff to all these rules?
How many school shootings have there been?
None.
What about malls? People shoot?
None.
What about like major holidays? People get shot up at major holidays here?
Nothing.
Come on, with all those guns, they had to have at least one mass shooting somewhere. After weeks of research, I discovered there was, in fact, one mass shooting in the Swiss parliament in 2001. But they haven't had one since? C'est incroyable.
You had a mass shooting 17 years ago. We have one every 17 minutes.
Il y a eu des changements. Par exemple, les munitions sont plus emportées avec les armes.
This is something that I'm having a hard time comprehending. You learned from a mistake, and you made an improvement in the law. That's so Europe.
And while Switzerland's last mass shooting was in 2001, America has had, no, keep going, no, more, yeah, there you go, over 1,900 mass shootings since 2012, averaging to about one a day. Which is why Miko felt I needed to be properly trained before I headed back to the States.
We have to talk about safety first.
Can I like with this one?
Yeah, just leave it alone. Don't touch it.
How are we going to shoot it if I can't touch it?
Let me explain you the rules first. So, number one thing that you have to remember is that you always treat the guns as if they're loaded, because probably most of the accidents that happens with empty guns.
All right, so this one here,
Don't touch it. Don't touch it. I think you don't pay enough, attention to what I'm saying.
Okay. I'm listening.
So you just have to follow 4 simple rules. Number 1, you treat the guns always as if they're loaded. Number 2, never point anything that you're not doing. Number 4, I got a feeling that you're not paying attention enough.
What? No, I am. Let's do it. Let's blow some shit up. Miko, when you load these things, you ever get a little bit of a erection?
Do exactly what I say, okay?
Okay.
All right, pay attention.
Pay attention.
Okay, and slowly press back until the gun goes off.
Jesus! This scares the shit out of me. I'm glad we had that safety instruction.
This is the dream. Shooting guns without the fear of getting shot? This is where America should be. All we need to do is keep ammo separate and have universal criminal and mental background checks. Have extremely strict open carry laws, justification for ownership, send written requests to authorities, and basically just change our entire gun culture. We can do that, right?
It's not really that fun when you keep shitting yourself.
You get used to it.
Boston, home to Mark Wahlberg, Donnie Wahlberg, and all of the rest of the Wahlbergs. It's also home to Spotlight, the team of Boston Globe reporters who exposed the city's church sex scandal. I'm here because the Spotlight team has been asking another uncomfortable question. How racist is Boston? For decades, people have called Boston racist for numerous reasons. The Red Sox were the last baseball team to integrate. Bostonians violently resisted desegregation. Even in 2017, fans at Fenway Park called Adam Jones the N-word. And all this got Spotlight curious. Reporter Akilah Johnson.
So we wanted to look at why does Boston have the racist reputation and why does it deserve it?
How do you measure racism?
Well, you do it in a variety.
Like how many times the N-word is said in a day? Like a Negro meter? Like a negrometer?
No.
The N-word meter?
No.
Okay.
So one study we found showed that the median net worth of white families in Boston was $247,500. Compare that to the median net worth of black families in Boston, which was $8.
Like counting in thousands? Like $8,000?
No, just $8.
$8. That's not even a grande soy latte.
In essence, net worth is what you own minus what you owe. And black folks in Boston don't own a lot.
That's not even enough for a foot long with the drink.
You know, racism is more than just attitude.
That's not even enough to buy 11 donuts.
This is one example of what structural racism looks like.
I'm sorry. I eat when I get sad about social inequality. If Boston is the cradle of equality, Spotlight wants to know why black enrollment at many of Boston's universities hasn't really gone up in 30 years, or why there's so little diversity in boardrooms and hospitals, or how among 8 major cities, black people voted Boston the least welcoming to people of color. Surely the people of Boston must be feeling all that structural racism. To find out, I went to one of the city's most beloved cathedrals, Fenway Park.
I don't see that racism myself, honestly.
No, I don't think Boston's a racist city.
I think that we've got a lot of attention with our sports being in the media.
So Boston's racist reputation is a conspiracy formed by people who hate Boston sports teams for winning all the damn time.
Yes, they love to hate us.
Yeah, I don't think of Boston as a racist city at all.
So how do you know?
I don't feel it. You know, it's just a gut feel. I don't feel like it's racist. I've just never encountered it.
Huh. The Spotlight says the city has a race problem. Why haven't these Bostonians seen it? The NAACP's Tanisha Sullivan has a theory.
The Spotlight gave us data to support what black people in and around this city already knew.
So if the data was news to you, you called the article the Spotlight article. But if you already knew about it, you just called it, that's what the I've been trying to tell y'all. Article.
Because the racism is not as overt, it's difficult for people who don't experience it on a day-to-day basis to realize that it's there.
Ah, I get it. I've been asking the wrong people. If you want to know if Jurassic Park is safe, you don't ask the dinosaurs.
It's not as racist as it used to be, but there are some blatant problems.
A white person walks into a room in Boston, they don't have to think about that I'm the only white person here.
On a scale of Jazzy Jeff to Jeff Sessions, how uncomfortable is it for black people? Tell me when to stop. Come across. This is Jeff Sessions right here.
Stop.
Right there. So about, what's that, about 60, 70% comfortability. Not quite, hey boy, go home, but definitely
know
not.
Know your
What's
neighborhood, know where you are allowed, know where you're wanted.
It's hard to fix a problem you can't see. To help this city recognize structural racism, Maybe I just need to use the one thing that brings all Bostonians together.
Sports.
Sports, yeah. Celtics, probably.
Sports teams, we're winners, it's what we do.
I just need to get this city of champions hyped about finally winning at the one thing they suck at. We're about treating people with respect.
Yeah!
Which city treats black people the best?
Boston!
It's Atlanta, actually, and then New York, and then San Francisco, and then Charlotte, and Tampa. And then at the bottom is Boston. What these people really needed was a mascot, so I gave them one. Introducing Wokey the Walrus. Who's got the best baseball?
Boston!
Who's got the best football?
Boston!
Who's number one in creating a system where structurally black people don't always get the same opportunities?
Boston! Yeah, good. Boston. Yes.
It's working already. See, Boston, feels good to be honest. Fighting structural racism is gonna be exhausting, but if white people are willing to put in the legwork, we'll get there.
Florida, God's waiting room. It's home to theme parks, the Everglades, your Peepaw, and of course, Florida Man.
Police report before committing a sexual act on a tree, yelling he was a god.
Suspects tried to start a fire with spaghetti sauce.
Was karate kicking those birds when he attacked 2 people.
Every week there's a new headline out of Florida. Wild, shocking, unnecessarily sexual.
Masturbating at a bus stop, told police he was Captain Kirk.
But have we ever stopped to ask the question, why? Something's happening to men in Florida, and it can't just be a coincidence. As a future Pulitzer-winning journalist, it's my responsibility to uncover the truth, to reveal what lies beneath the swamp, to answer the question, what makes a man Florida man? Florida man.
A Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man. First thing I did was some heavy back channeling, mostly on Craigslist and Facebook. I needed to locate some of these real-life Florida men.
First up was Robbie. Last July, he ran into a liquor store with a live alligator for some reason.
Florida man Robbie Stratton decided to bring an alligator with him while making a beer run.
Yeah, I definitely regret it. It was stupid.
Talk to me about the night that you became Florida man.
Can't really tell you much about that night. There's too much alcohol involved that night.
Not just alcohol, though. There's probably a deep-rooted conspiracy.
No, it was alcohol.
What was it about Florida that made you do what you did?
It was hot, it was humid.
The heat makes you do crazy things.
The heat makes you do crazy things. Alcohol makes you do crazy things.
But isn't there something that all Florida men share? There's something behind it.
Mental health issues?
No, that couldn't be it. And this wasn't the only man affected.
He's been hit with charges after pictures in this video showing him handling an alligator, which he posted, were seen by law enforcement.
A real name Jordan Bedford, but I go by the Alligator Man.
Okay. Alligator man, what's the common factor among all Florida men?
We all different. Well, I'm different from the rest because I do the wrong thing in the right way, if that makes sense.
No.
No? See, you're not from Florida, so you don't understand my language, what I'm talking right now, but I do the wild things. Anything you think of, I probably do it. Like I tell you.
Anything?
Anything. I catch gators.
Anything?
Anything. Well, not anything, but basically anything when it comes to the reptile animals. Mainly the alligators, though. Well, like here in Florida, you're not allowed to catch an alligator. I mean, I didn't know that before, but I know now. I just had a little fun, put them on a leash and dance with the last one they seen.
What kind of dancing did you do with the alligator?
The alligator man dance. You gotta kick your feet, spell alligator in the sand as you're dancing, as you're going around, you spell an alligator and you end it with the stomp. The alligator man got a commercial too.
You have a commercial?
Yeah, he got a commercial. He got a theme song. Everybody sing like, na 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 na, it's the alligator man.
That is 100% the McDonald's jingle.
Well, it's the alligator man's on now.
I see what you're saying about doing the wrong thing in the right way and how it works.
It worked.
Where do you find alligators in Florida?
If there's a lake, there's a gator. I promise you. That's everywhere. There's gators everywhere.
These chairs are very hard to get up out of.
She gone.
So many Florida men, so many alligators. Surely there's a Florida man who's normal.
Hi, Missy. I am Captain Silky Silvertips, and I hail out of the island called Marathon, down in the Florida Keys.
Cool. And you're a pirate?
Well, I'm a pirate most of the day. When I'm not, I'm a landscaper.
What could a landscaper pirate possibly have done?
A man dressed as a pirate is accused of shooting his gun on the 7 Mile Bridge in South Florida.
So I took out my flintlocks to shoot at the sun. Now, mind you, there was no projectiles.
Yeah, you can put that. You don't
Simply
have to
gunpowder,
just
right?
put it away. Why do you defend what you did?
Well, I defend my Second Amendment right.
Your Second Amendment right to shoot a gun into the sun?
Yeah, why not?
How exactly did you become a Florida man?
To become a Florida man, you must first be a Florida boy and experience the life that it gives you as a boy to hone your skills to be, in my case, a Florida pirate man.
Have you always been a Florida man?
No. Originally, I hailed from Chicago.
Oh, so you're a transplant.
I was then. But since then, I've lived my entire life here in the Keys.
What do you think is behind every Florida man?
Must be the water that we're drinking down here to drive us to what we do.
It's a water conspiracy.
And women.
Women.
Yeah. They're the ones that drive you crazy.
And while I was running away from these unusual men, I was heading towards some new ideas. There had to be a common thread. What was I missing? There was something different about this state. So many Florida man stories filling the news. Did Florida reporters know something I didn't? I went to an undisclosed orange grove to meet a very casually dressed journalist to find out.
What can you tell me about these Florida man stories? I mean, I have my own research, but
Sure.
you just give me yours just so we can compare notes.
Yeah, I mean, they are true. People do weird things here in Florida, and it gets into the news.
No shit.
Yeah, a major factor is that we went from being the least populated southern state in 1940 to now being the 3rd most populous state in the country.
Sure.
We've got
This
20
nerd
million
knew a
people
lot
here
about
in
Florida, and while he mostly rambled, I was connecting the
We
dots.
built tons of homes everywhere where there used to be just wilderness.
If there's a lake, there's a gator.
You can get just about any kind of weapon you want here.
This is me knife.
49th among the states in funding for mental health treatment.
Mental health issues?
Another big factor is Florida was the first state in the nation to pass this landmark law called the Sunshine Act that says that basically any government document is available for reporters to go in and see. Police reports, for instance, are all open for inspection by reporters.
And that's when it hit me, the missing piece of the puzzle.
By a guy named Emery Redcross.
Shut up, shut up. That's it.
What's it?
It's the Sunshine Act.
Yeah?
It's not what causes Florida man, it's why we hear about Florida man.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just figured it out all by myself. I'm a genius.
Florida man has been the butt of countless jokes, but maybe that's not fair. Well, this guy was pretty weird. The Sunshine Act makes it easier to discover Florida man stories, but I was just scratching the surface. We may not hear about them as much, but it turns out there are Florida men in every state.
He tried to shoot the dog shoots its owner. At the emoji movie.
And while Florida will always be America's petri dish of batshit behavior, the truth is, there's a little Florida man in all of us.
I know what you're thinking. How did my incredibly chiseled body end up here?
Enjoy your drugs. Next.
Pick up for Ronnie Chang.
Right. 25 milligram Daraprin for toxoplasmosis.
Yo, I got it for my cat. I got it for my cat. It's not like you have to do anything weird to get it. Okay, you just need to have touched cat feces and not wash your hands and then put it in your mouth, which happens more than you think, okay?
Okay, so that'll be $45,909.10.
Wait, did you say $45,909.10?
How is that even possible? How did this medicine become so expensive? I went home to do some research. Yes, this is how I do research. It's the future, okay? Deal with it.
One tablet of Daraprim used to cost $13.50. The drug maker recently increased the price to $750.
Apparently in America, drug companies can do whatever the hell they want. And that's exactly what this asshole did. Remember Martin Shkreli? He was the one who raised the price of the life-saving drug Daraprim.
In response to all of this attention, are you going to change the price?
No.
I also found out that a group in Australia managed to replicate the same drug for just $2 a pill. At that price, it's cheaper for me to fly to Australia than to buy it in America. So I did. And guess what? The scientists responsible were...
these high school nerds!
Meet the young chemist from Sydney Grammar's all-boys high school.
Man, I love it. All that time you could have wasted going on dates and having a life, you guys channeled into your science.
I guess. Yeah. What we're trying to do is just to demonstrate that this drug doesn't deserve to be price hiked to $750 a pill.
I think like people appreciate nerds a bit more now.
Except for one guy who went on a tweeting rampage against them when their success started to make headlines.
Never ever compare your cook game to mine. Highest yield. Best purity, most scale. I have the synthesis game on lock.
We were able to do this in a school lab with cheap school equipment compared to a fully fledged facility that he has. And we compared the spectroscopy, and we got very high yield, very high purity. So our synthesis game is also on lock, Shkreli.
Oh snap! They talk science and trash, and they can back it up.
Where's this magic stuff you made?
There it is. Wonderful little, beautiful white powder.
That's it?
Yep, that's it.
And how much is that worth?
It's about worth of a bit over $100,000.
The street value of that is $100,000.
In the US, yeah.
So how did you guys celebrate your newfound wealth?
We didn't make money from it. We're just making it to prove a point, really.
Hang on, wait a second. So you created a drug and you made no money from it?
No.
No. What are they teaching you at this school?
Science.
Clearly, these kids were only in it for the good of humanity or whatever. But someone had to be profiting off them. So I arranged to sit down with the real mastermind behind this operation. The hardened criminal that was exploiting these students.
Ronnie?
So the drug lords were actually these scientists working for the open source malaria cartel. And they were cracking the code behind dozens of drugs, including Daraprim.
The aim is to try and make medicines more accessible to people. It only takes a few steps, and high school students can do it. So why is it so expensive?
Why is it so expensive?
Well, Shkreli bought the marketing rights. It's because of a loophole in the States.
This loophole allows this company to charge whatever it likes for this drug.
Isn't that a good thing? They can put that money into making the drug itself better.
Well, there's been no development on this medicine for over 60 years. I mean, it's off patent. It was invented in the 50s. So there seems to be no reason to raise the price of a drug by over 5,500%.
But you guys are sitting on a gold mine here.
I think you've really misunderstood what's going on here.
I'm not saying sell it for $750 a pill. Okay, we're not animals. Like $500 a pill.
But we don't want to.
But you could.
We don't want to.
For a bunch of geniuses, they sure don't know anything about supply and demand. Luckily, I too know smart stuff, which takes us back to where we were. I needed a large supply of pharmaceuticals to bring back to the States to save millions of lives. And I knew just the people to make it happen.
All right, listen, you Australian genius brats. I need drugs, lots of drugs. Keep mixing that. Go. Why are you in underwear? Look, I don't know much about chemistry, but I know you gotta take your pants off when you do it, okay? That's basic science. What is this? That's a grade B. But I need a grade A, you hear me? I want your synthesis game on lock. If you got something for herpes, I want that. You don't have to do it right now, just write that down for me. I'll take it home and figure it out. Science, bitch!
Now that I had my product,
keep working.
All I had to do was smuggle it into America. And I had a foolproof plan.
Okay, so you take this, right, and you put in your pocket.
Turns out the best drug mules aren't even mules.
Right, that's it. Go. Go and save lives, you beautiful medical marsupials. If you make it to America, meet me in Times Square. Now, do any of you kangaroos know I can get an Uber?
Wildfires, flash floods, and a dramatically shortened cuffing season. Climate change is affecting America, and nowhere more than Phoenix, Arizona.
In Phoenix, they say it's too hot to fly.
44 people had to be rescued.
Arizona officials are urging locals to avoid hiking during extreme heat.
So I headed to Arizona to find out for myself just how bad the heat can get. To explain the science behind my sweaty balls, I met with climate expert Brian Stone.
Climate change is very much happening today and has been with us for many decades already. If you are under the age of 34 today, every month of your life has been.
I'm under 34.
Every month of your life has been in a climate that is much warmer than we've seen for thousands of years.
Is that how old you are?
And third-degree burns like that are becoming the new normal here in Phoenix.
You're seeing 100 days a year with temperatures over 100 degrees.
And there have been many warnings for us that we haven't listened to leading up until this point, right?
Yeah.
Nelly has been warning us about Phoenix since 2003.
I really don't know anything about that.
Hot in her. It was sort of like this pleading cry to the public, like, it's getting hot in here, please.
Yeah.
Take off all your clothes.
Yeah.
And we didn't listen.
Maybe.
Brian walked me through some of Phoenix's new climate adaptations, like smooth, reflective surfaces and, of course, landscaping. But the biggest change? Arizona is shifting daytime activities to night. That's right, it's gotten so hot that jogging, hiking, and even construction work are now happening after hours. What? So I went to do one of my favorite things, hang out with a bunch of guys laying pipe.
Do you do construction at night because it's more fun? We do construction at night because it's safer. Arizona temperatures are just too hard on the guys. If you're not prepared, well hydrated, you're gonna end up in the hospital getting IVs ran to you.
Ugh, gross. But when the sun goes down, things at the concrete pour do get a little freaky.
See the guy, he's got a vibrator on his back, and that concrete's liquid, and it vibrates the concrete, and it goes and surrounds all the rebar.
He has a vibrator on his back?
That machine right there,
Does he like clean it off before he comes to work?
Puts oil on it.
Right, just want to make sure that we're being sanitary.
Absolutely.
But it's not all pleasuring concrete bridges to completion. Working at night can affect cognitive performance and lead to tragic accidents.
I can't find I think my phone is in there.
Climate change hasn't just affected these sex-positive village people style jobs. It's also changing the way that people have fun. So I met up with the Arizona Trailblazers Hiking Club for a night hike.
Here's a black light for you. You can use this to try to look and see if there's any critters, scorpions, snakes.
What?
Yeah, there's lots of wildlife in the floor around us.
You said, sorry, repeat that, sorry. What was that?
Scorpions. We can look for them using these black lights.
Okay, first of all, terrifying. Second, scorpions glow under black lights? I have some questions.
Why do they glow? Is it because they're covered in
I don't believe that's the reason.
And these scorpions were ready to pop off.
He's pointing his tail at you. I think you've really angered him.
Oh my God, I thought he was waving. Because he's such a little guy, he probably doesn't have venom yet, right?
Oh no, that's the worst kind. The smaller scorpions are more venomous than the larger species.
Gary, stop.
Here's another, it's real
Stop.
small.
Oh my God, he picked it up. He picked it up. Gary, no.
Yo,
Gary, stop!
What?
Stop!
What?
Gary, stop playing!
I hope he comes back.
Lost in the Arizona desert. It felt like things couldn't get any worse.
Only got one reply on my scorpion video! Mountain Lion, come get me now!
But when the sun finally rose, I saw how beautiful Arizona looked without an iPhone flashlight on it. Must have been cool to hang out here without dying of heat stroke. Climate change might be in Arizona today, but it's coming for the rest of America. Luckily, I knew just the plan to get the government to take serious action.
I've released 100 scorpions into these chambers, and the doors are locked until you pass comprehensive climate reform. No, I don't know why they're covered in